let's continue. Okay, another question for expected value. Which one of the following alternatives correctly reflects the respective expected values for investing versus not investing? So a controller has decided to use a decision model to cope with uncertainty. With a particular proposal currently under consideration, the controller has two possible actions, which is invest or not to invest in a joint venture with an international firm. So those are two actions or possible courses of actions of the controller of this company. The controller has determined the following. If it will be investing in the joint venture, the probability of success is 60%. So meaning to say, if the probability of success is 60%, so the probability of not being successful is 40%. So the cost of investment is 9.5 million. The cash flow investment is successful, 15 million. And then for investment is unsuccessful, it's 2 million. Additional cost to be paid, 0. Cost incurred up to this point is 650,000. If it will not be investing, then the cost incurred will be 650, and then additional cost to be paid is 100,000. So there will be no cost of investment since there will be no investment in the joint venture, actually. So meaning to say, that 650,000 which are present under both scenarios for investing in the joint venture and not investing in the joint venture, do you think, guys, this cost is still relevant in doing the expected value? So the correct answer is no. This 650,000, both present in invest in joint venture and not to invest in joint venture, is irrelevant in making or irrelevant in computing the expected value for this problem, for this question, since both cost, even though they will invest or not, the 650,000 still present. So tanggalin na lang natin siya, hindi na siya irrelevant. So for meaning to say, for do not invest in the joint venture, there's still a cost or additional cost to be paid, which is 100,000. So the only thing that we need to check is how much will be the cost or revenue for the action 1, which is investing in the joint venture. So if the cash flow of investment is successful, 15 million. So 15 million times 60%, and unsuccessful, 2 million times 40%. And then we should add the two payoffs, and then the figures will be deducted from the cost of investment, which is 9.5 billion. So how much will it be? So from 9.8, 9,500,000 the cost of investment. So there's a gain of 300,000. So which among the four choices is correct? The expected values of investing versus not investing. So it should be letter A, 300,000 and 100,000 negative. So it's letter A. Next. Ignoring the time value of money, the expected cost of using the semi-automatic machine is. Okay, ignoring the time value of money, the expected cost or the expected value of using the semi-automatic machine is. A company is considering 3 alternative machines to produce a new product. The cost structures unit variable cost plus avoidable fixed cost for the 3 machines are shown as follows. The selling price is unaffected by the machine use. Single purpose machine, 0.60S plus 20,000, semi-automatic machine. Describe the semi-automatic machine, 0.40X plus 50,000, automatic machine, 0.20X plus 120,000. The demand for units of the new product is described with the following probability distribution. Demand 200, 300, 400, 500. The probability 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. Make sure guys that always the probability is equals to 1 or 100%. Okay, then ignoring the time value of money, how much is the expected cost using the semi-automatic machine. So, di ba, semi-automatic machine, yung formula niya is 0.40x plus 50,000. So, we just need to determine which, how many demands will be the basis or what would be the base. So, calculate nyo nga guys how much will be the demand that will substitute X for that semi-automatic machine. So, 200 times 0.4, 300 times 0.3, 400 times 0.2, and then 500 times 0.1. Then add natin, then substitute natin dun sa X multiplied by 0.40 plus 50,000. So, the correct answer for this number is letter C, 170,000. Ito guys yung computation niya, yung probability, then the expected demand, and then substitute natin yung expected demand sa X times 0.40 plus 50,000. Okay. Using the expected value criterion, which one of the following rankings of these investments from highest payoff to lowest payoff is correct? Using the expected value criterion, which one of the following rankings of these investments from highest payoff to lowest payoff is correct? So we just need to arrange it. Calculate first the expected value for each investment and then rank it from highest to lowest. Okay guys, gawin nyo nga how much would be for investment A, for investment B, and investment C. How much guys yung sa investment A, how much is the payoff for investment A, for investment B, and investment C? The correct answer here is letter A, B, C, A. For A, it's 26,000. For B, 34,000. And then C, 30,000. Kasi doon kay letter B, pwede nyo gawin na lang, i-add nyo yung payoff, then multiplied by 2 since consistent naman na 0.2 per payoff siya. Pero kay investment A and investment C, isa-isa nyo siya. Ang negative 20,000 times 0.3, negative 10 times 0.1, 30.3. But you can also direct it from sa calculator para at least dire-diretso na lang, and then it will save of your time. Okay. If the software company decides to market its new software package, the expected value of additional monthly income will be. If the software company decides to market its new software package, the expected value of additional monthly income will be. A software company has developed a new software package. The sales managers prepared the following probability distribution describing the relative likelihood of monthly sales levels and relative income loss for the company's new software package. Monthly sales in units 10,000, 20, 30, and then 40. Probability is 0.2, 0.3, 0.3, 0.2, then income negative 4, 10,000, 30,000, 60,000. So what do you think, guys? Are the monthly sales in units given in the problem still relevant on this problem? The correct answer is no. Since you already have the income or the payoff in your right hand corner of the problem that besides the probability. So multiply na natin yung probability doon sa income and then add, and then you would get how much the expected value of that additional monthly income. So 0.2 times negative 4,000 plus 0.3 times 10,000 times 0.3 plus times 30,000 plus 0.2 times 60,000. So ganun lang kadali yan. So yan, 23,200. It's letter A. 25 is letter A. Right here. The expected rate of return on stock X is. Stock X is the following probability distribution of expected future returns. Probability 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, 0.2, and then 1. Then expected returns negative 20%, 5%, 15%, 20%, and then 30%. So what kind of attack do we need to do here? It's the same thing that you should always be doing when you're getting when you're calculating the expected value. You should multiply the probability by the expected return. Diba? Normally, we have that expected return being expressed in dollars, but here it's expressed in percentage. Same thing lang. Multiply nyo lang siya. And then you would get, I think for number 26 is letter D, 12%. 1% times 20%, 2%, 0.2 times 5%, 0.4 times 15%, 0.2 times 20%, 0.1 times 30%. Total of 12%. Which one of the following four probability distribution provides the highest expected monetary value? Among these choices, or among these alternatives, which has the highest expected monetary value? So, very direct to the point to. So, the only thing that you need to do is to multiply the probability to cash inflows assigned, or cash inflows assigned multiplied by the probability assigned. So, alternative 1, alternative 2, alternative 3, and then alternative 4. Which one has the highest? Is it 1, 3, 2, 4? Okay, let's see the calculations here. It's alternative 1. So, ito yung expected value for each alternatives. So, alternative 1, 105,000. Alternative 2, 102,500. Alternative 3, 97.5. And then alternative 4,000. Okay? The estimated demand for pretzels at the next home football game using a deterministic approach based on the most likely outcome. Guys, please take note. If in the question you will be asked about deterministic approach and its expected value, once it is deterministic approach, you're not going to calculate anything if the volume will be asked only. If under deterministic approach, you should select the quantity which has the highest probability. In deterministic or most deterministic approach, that's the highest probability. So in this question or on this problem, the correct answer is letter A, 5,000 pretzels. You don't need to calculate in 2,000 times 0.10, 3,000 times 0.15. Since it's already been given or stated deterministic approach, then choose the probability that has the highest, please choose the demand that has the highest probability. Okay? So 28 is letter A. The expected payoff if the vendor has perfect information. Kapag naman may perfect information, meaning to say, it from the very beginning, you know already the revenue that you will be getting once you already know the state of the nature, or if in certain conditions, what will be the best outcome or the best results. Kaya tinatawag natin siyang perfect information. So on this problem, since it's about selling coffee and selling drinks, so in either condition, like in hot or cold temperature, you could know which product or which alternative should have the highest revenue or should have the highest or higher payoff. So if it is cold weather, then the hot coffee or the coffee will be the best, will be the better option. And if it's hot, then it should be the soft drinks. So then kuhanin lang natin yung probability ng hot, which is 40%, and cold 40%. And then kapag cold, alin yung best one na payoff, and then same as thing with the cold. So the number 29, the correct answer is letter B, 2,200. Okay. What is the probability of selling between 201 and 600 units of the product? What is the probability of selling between 201 and 600 units of the product? The probability shown in the table below represent the estimate of the sales for a new product. Pag selling units between 0 to 200, 15%. Then probability to sales 201 to 400 units, 45%. Then 401 to 600, 25%. 601 to 800, 15%. So what's the probability of selling 201 and 600 units? So guys, here the correct answer is 70%. How did we come up with 70%? Since the question is selling between 201 to 600 units, so from 201 to 400, there's a 45% probability. And then from 401 to 600 is 25% probability. So you just need to add those two probabilities. So 45% plus 25% is equals to 70%. If it is 201 to 800, then it will be 85% probability. Okay, so I think that's the end of all the topics that we tackled, but we still have more MCQs in the next slides that we will try to finish as much as we can. Okay, these are the practice sets. So let's try doing this together. So guys, I'm encouraging you to key in your answers in our chat box. Okay? So first question. Actual sales during the period were 225,000 games. Using flexible budgeting, Gamma expects the operating income for the period to be. Again, di ba may flexible budgeting tayo and then may static budgeting. So I think we should determine what's the difference between the two. Gamma Corporation plans to sell 200,000 board games during the next period. The company's master budget contains the following data relating to the sale and production of its games. Sales revenue, 1.8, then the variable cost for DM, DL, and then FO, 400, 200, 250, total of 850,000. And then the fixed overhead, 50,000 and the other fixed cost is 150,000. So the operating profit is 750,000. But the question now is, how much will be the operating income if the actual sales during the period were 225,000 as opposed to 200,000 before? So I'm giving you 2 minutes to answer that this question. if a linear regression formula, may sounds na po, sir? Okay. If a linear regression formula representing total production cost developed by a company's production manager is Y equals 93564 plus 1.35x, then 93564 is the blank, while 1.35 is the blank of regression line. Y-intercept, slope regression coefficient, slope, y-intercept, radius, y-intercept. Sir, question, saan problem tayo nag-start na nawalan ako ng sound? Baka pwede nating balikan. Or in number 6 lang. Question 3. Sige, let's see. Let's try. So, tapusin muna natin itong number 6 before balikan natin yung number 3, 4, 5. So, ito dun sa simple regression analysis natin. So, di ba, 93564 is the y-intercept and then 1.35 is the slope of the regression line. The correct answer for number 6 is letter A. So, again guys, please memorize yung y is equals to A plus 3. Y is equals to A plus bx, where y is equals to dependent variable, where A is equals to y-intercept, or maybe sometimes it's being called as the fixed cost, and then the B is the slope of the line, and then the x is the independent variable. Okay, let's go back with number 3. Ito ano lang naman to, for number 3 parang definition of terms lang siya. So for number 3 is letter A, the incremental budget. For number 4, ito yung sa buyers, powerful in their bargaining ability. So di ba Michael E. Porter introduces the 5 forces which are the power of the supplier's ability to bargain the price, or the bargaining power of the supplier, the bargaining power of the buyers, the threat of substitutes, the threat of new entrants, and the intensity of rivalry among existing competitors. So in question number 4, it's being asked when or where does the buyer has the more power in bargaining the price. So for 1, 2, 3, and 4, when the volumes of their purchases are high relative to the size of the supplier, so meaning to say that the buyer has the right to influence or the right to dictate the price that they should accept coming from the supplier, since the supplier doesn't have the choice but to give the price as the buyer wants, considering the volume or the size of the considering the volume or size of the purchases of the buyers. And then number 2, when the products of suppliers are highly differentiated, since it's the products are unique and very distinct, so the supplier has the power to bargain the price and not the buyer. Number 3, when the buyer has full information about suppliers and then the prices, so meaning to say that the buyer has the more power to get the price, since he has a thorough knowledge which supplier could offer a lesser price, or which supplier he could get more advantageous when it comes to the prices. And then when the profits of the buyer are high, So the buyer will not be affected regardless of the price that the seller or the service provider will give it to him or her. So for number 4, 1 and 3. So it's letter B. So for number 5 naman, yung suppliers might be particular powerful, opposed naman to dun sa number 4. Kapag only small number of suppliers in the market, so meaning to say that the suppliers has more powers, considering na konti nga lang yung service providers sa market, konti lang yung choices ng mga buyers, so kung konti lang sila, so there's a limited resources that the buyer should get their products. So unahan na lang sila, and then they don't have any choice but to accept the price that the service provider, the supplier might offer or will offer to them. And then when there are no substitutes for the products they supply, so since there's no alternative, so mapipilitan din sila, ang buyer, to accept the price based on what the supplier is offering. And then number 3, when the products of the supplier are differentiated, since it's not unique or it's not distinct, so the supplier doesn't have the power to suggest the price or to impose the price, or the buyer should accept that price. And then number 4, when the supplier's product is not more important component in the end products that are made with it, since it's not an important component, then it could be disregarded. So the supplier cannot offer a higher price on this. Okay, and then number 6, I think we're done with this. So number 7, if the company's goal is to have a level of activity that is best for motivating employees and getting them to work more diligently, which level of activity should be used? Diba last week we have discussed that we have different levels of activity. I think it's 5. The first one is the theoretical capacity or the ideal capacity, which is 100% of our times, without considering any stoppages, idle time, or downtime. And then the second one is the real time or the practical capacity. And then there's also master capacity, the normal capacity, and then what else? Is it 5 activity or 4? I think it's 4. So which among those activities is the best for motivating employees? A textile manufacturing company's current costing system uses only actual cost. The company has been advised to switch to standard costing system for a variety of reasons. The company has learned that there are generally 4 choices it has regarding the level of activity it uses when setting its standard cost. So among those 4 activity levels, which one could motivate, or which one is the best in motivating employees? Is it master budget, the practical, the normal, or the ideal? Correct answer is the practical capacity, letter D. Using practical capacity has the desired motivation and impact on employees. This level is based on what should be achieved in normal efficient but not perfect conditions, but is difficult to achieve. Such a level will motivate workers while at the same time requiring them to work diligently. Which of the following is not a step in strategic planning process? Is it defining the company's mission, analyzing the company's internal and external environments, identifying the company's resources for dealing with external threats, or developing and implementing strategies? The correct answer is letter C, identifying the company's resources for dealing with external threats. A question again from learning curve topic. If a 70% learning curve is used, the cumulative direct labor hours required to produce a total of 8 units would be. Gibbs Incorporated has developed a new production process to manufacture its product. The new process is complex and requires a high degree of technical skill. However, management believes there's a good opportunity for the employees to improve as they become more familiar with the production process. So, can you just, guys, calculate how many direct labor hours required to produce 8 units? So 100 times 0.70 times 0.70 times 0.70 times 8. Yes, that's right. It's letter B. 274.4 to be exact. Okay. Given each error cost the company $125 to rectify, what are the long-term monthly cost savings that will arise from the purchase of new machine? Again, given each error cost the company $125 to rectify, what are the long-term monthly cost savings that will arise from the purchase of new machine? A company currently experiences 330 errors in its processing each month. Performance figures for a new machine are shown below. Probability 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.1, then monthly errors 150, 200, 250, and then 280. So before and after, without and with new machine, then multiplied by 125. How much will be the savings? I think with the machine, monthly errors will be lesser. Since for monthly errors, para nasa 280 lang yung pinakamataas compared with the 330 errors. But there's a probability based on the monthly errors occurred. So we just need to get the expected monthly errors or the expected hours. Expected errors rather. So we need to multiply the probability by monthly errors, 0.2 times 150, 0.3 times 200, 0.4 times 250, 0.1 times 280, and then we need to add those 5 errors. And then deduct natin yung 330, which is which are normal errors without the machine. And then multiply natin sa 125, then we could get how much the total cost savings. Okay, someone says D. Let's see. For computation, yeah, it's letter D. 14,000. Actually, this question number 10 is a good question. Kasi at least may decision analysis. Or maybe it could also have maybe it could also ask that is it right that the new machine was purchased, and then if yes, then how much could save for the company? May mga ganun kanisang mga scenario or kind of questions. Okay. The expected value again, a company's manager attempting to value a piece of land they own. One potential occurrence is that the old road bordering the land gets paved. Another possibility is that the road does not get paved. A third outcome is that the road might be destroyed and completely replaced by a new road. Based on the following future states of nature, their probabilities and subsequent values of the land, what is the expected value of the land? Expected value of the land. So it's very easy. Probability multiplied by the expected land value under each future state of nature. So 0.5 times 200,000 plus 0.4 times 100,000 plus 0.1 times 550,000. So, and that's the answer is letter B, 195,000. Next, which one of the following methods should be used to estimate the cost of the new competitive bid? Which one of the following methods should be used to estimate the cost of the new competitive bid? An entity received a request for a competitive bid for the sale of one of its unique voting products with desired modification. The entity is now in the process of manufacturing this product, but with a slightly different modification for another customer. These unique products are labor intensive and both will have long production runs. So is it regression analysis, expected value, the continuous probability, or the learning curve analysis? Yes, you're right. The correct answer is letter D, learning curve analysis. Okay, let's stop here for the multiple choice questions. I just wanted to share something. Just give me a moment. I just need to open a new file. Guys, can you see this my new presentation about Busy Company? Dito nyo guys, blue presentation, Busy Company. Okay, it's great. Ito yung sample essay na ating i-discuss for section B. At least you should have an idea kung ano yung mga pwedeng mga matanong sa essay part. At least you could also prepare in advance. Pero based on my previous experience, when still reviewing my part 1 and my part 2, nag-leave kasi ako, I think 1 week for preparation of the exam. Nag-take ako ng leave 1 week for 1 week before yung exam ko. I think I took my examination, I think first one is Friday, for part 2 Friday. So I took a leave ng Monday to Thursday. And then yung part 1 ko naman, I think Friday ko din yung tinik. So Monday din ako hanggang Thursday din nagfile ako ng leave para preparation. So by those period of leaves ko, in-study ko na lang doon yung mga yung mga summary, like yung mga terminologies or yung flashcards. I think Sir Marlon will be providing you some flashcards. So yun na yung inaral ko kasi since nagre-review naman regularly at least 1 hour per day, and then most of my times during weekend were devoted sa review kasi finish ko talaga yung sarili ko na ganun ang gawin ko for the aim na may pasa yung CMA examination. It's worth it naman lahat ng pagod and sacrifices din. So, for me, ganun na lang din yung gawin nyo if ever na makapag-leave kayo during your leave periods. I-maximize nyo, basahin lahat ng flashcards, dun kayo mag-focus so that sa essay part, you have the necessary knowledge or yung concepts na pwede nyong sabihin dun if ever you will be asked dun sa mga some terminologies or like mga benefits, limitations, or yung mga points na dapat nyong i-remember So, yun. Kasi pag mga multiple choice question naman, napapractice mo yan almost daily. So, you're already familiar with it. So, ang kailangan nyo lang is to familiarize again with the concepts. So, yung by week, 1 week na yon for each part, I think that's sufficient enough to cover everything. Ganun na lang yung gawin niyo. Pero if you still have the other strategy, and then go for it. Kung alam nyo na mas magiging beneficial yon para sa inyo, then go for it. Okay. But I'm just suggesting yung based on my personal experience and judgment. Okay? So, let's see. Let's try the first question here. It's an essay. I think, okay, this is about learning curve. By using the cumulative average time learning curve, estimate the total number of labor hours that are required to manufacture the first 4 units of product. Show your calculations. So guys, in the essay, once you're being asked to show your calculations, you should show your calculations. Wag niyong sagot lang yung ipapakita nyo. Kapag sinabi show your calculation, then show it. Kahit hindi siya ganun kahit in paragraph form or in bullets na, that will be fine as long as you will show how did you arrive your final answer. Okay, so let's read first the doon pala sa sa Prometric kasi pwede naman kayong sa computer naman pwede nyo i-underline yung mga keywords dun mismo sa screen, and then I think you could also copy paste yung pag sa essay. Okay, busy company is a manufacturer of semi-custom motorcycles. The company used 500 labor hours to produce a prototype of a new motorcycle for one of its key customers. Then the customer ordered 3 additional motorcycles to be produced over the next 6 months. Then Busy estimates that the manufacturing process for these additional motorcycles is subject to a 90% learning curve. Although the production manager was aware of the learning curve projections, then he decided to ignore the learning curve when compiling his budget in order to provide a cushion to prevent exceeding the budgeted amount for labor. Diba? As what I have mentioned to you earlier, once it is there's a learning curve or learning curve rate, you should always consider that. Okay, the main question for number 1 is how many number of labor hours required in manufacturing the first 4 units of product? So, need to say in the learning curve. So, 500 labor hours. For first unit, 500 labor hours. And then for the second unit, or the third cumulative units produced, 2, and then 500 times 0.9, since yung learning curve application, and then 1, 2, 4, since customer the additional motorcycles, so 1, 2, 4, and then the fourth cumulative units produced, and then 50 times 0.60, 500 times 0.9 times 0.9. So yun yung calculations natin. Ito. Yan. Cumulative number of units, 1, 2, 4. Cumulative average time unit, 500, 0.9 times 50, 450 times 405. And then cumulative total time, 500, 450 times 900, 405 times 41620. So the total number of labor hours required to manufacture the first 4 units of product is 1,620 labor hours. Yan. And then second question, assume the 90% learning curve is realized. Calculate Busy's cost of savings in producing the 3 additional units if the cost of direct labor is 25 per hour. So show your calculation. So how much is the cost saved considering the learning curve of 90% and the cost of the direct labor is 25. How will we solve this? Siyempre, mag-compute kayo without the learning curve. Diba, parang 500 times 4 or 500 times 3. Kasi diba 500 per hour, 500 hours required to produce one motorcycle. Since additional 3 motorcycles, so 3 times 1,500. And then on the previous slide, it says 1,620 less 500 is 1,120 for three motorcycles. Where did I get 1,120? 1,620 less 500. It's 1,120. So 1,120 or 1,5 less 1,120 multiplied by 25, that's the amount of savings. 25 times 500 times 3 units, 35,500 costs with no learning curve. And then 25 times 1,120 equals 28,000 with 90% learning curve. The savings from learning curve, 37.5 less 28.5 is equals to 9,000.5. So simple calculations like this will work. Or it's up to you if you just wanted to show detailed calculation. Or ganito din yung another computation. Same lang din naman yung answer na madiderive nyo. But for me, I'll recommend the first one. Since additional units lang naman yung hiningi, so 3 units, yung additional 3 units. Since yung first unit naman would be irrelevant already. Since parehas naman walang learning curve yung first unit. So I think dun lang tayo mag-focus sa 3 additional. Though it will arrive with the same answer. Next question. Yan. Define budgetary slack. So ano nga ba yung budgetary slack? Budgetary slacks underestimating the planned revenues and overestimating the expenses to make more budgets achievable. Yan. So, ayan. So, i-memorize na natin yung definition ng budgetary slack. Whatever, you will encounter the same thing. Then, identify and explain 2 negative effects that budgetary slack can have on the budgeting process. So, in your own words, you can also say something about the negative impact or effects of the budgetary slack. So, according to the suggested answer is, budgetary slack misleads top management about the true profit potential of the company, which leads to inefficient resource planning and allocation as well as poor coordination of activities around different parts of the company. So, yan yung suggested answer. Pwede rin naman na to budgetary slack, kung iba nyo pang pwedeng maisip na pwede na highly recommendable din naman, or the AMA or the checker could accept that answer. Or pwede naman kayong maglagay din ng certain scenario or justification dun sa answer nyo. Pwede kayong mag-give ng or specific example. But be sure yung example nyo rin is somehow related or correlated dun sa main problem. Hindi siya pwedeng out of nowhere lang or out of the problem. It should always be related to the problem if you will be citing an example. Then identify and explain 1 limitation of learning curve analysis in this situation. So suggested answer, for a new product, the company may not be able to accurately forecast the amount of improvement if there's any from learning. The company may or may not be able to gain efficiencies from learning. And then diba kanina rin we discussed some of the limitations of the learning curves. Maybe you could also check again on that. And then maybe you could just memorize 3 or 4 or maybe maximum 3 limitations and then 3 benefits. I think that's it. So, stop the shared. I think we could go back to the previous slides. Hold on. Share. Okay, let's continue for some multiple choice questions. Okay. Review again ang budgeting. Okay, budgeted cash collections for Wallstead or Wallstead Company during April would be projected monthly sales of Wallstead Corporation for January, February, March, and April are as follows. January 300,000, February 340,000, March 370,000, and April 390,000. Additional information. The company bills each month sales on the last day of the month. So yung billing will take place last day of the month. So meaning to say the collection should be next month. There will be no, for that particular sale, there will be no collection for that particular sale. Then receivables are booked gross and credit terms of sale are 210 and 30. So 2% could be availed within the 10th day period. 50% of the billings are collected within the discount period, and then 30% are collected by end of the month, and then 15% are collected by end of the second month, and 5% become uncollectible. So budgeted cash collections for Wallstead Company during April would be. So April, question for the April sales 390,000, do we need to collect something from the sales? The correct answer is none, since the billing department bills the sales on the last day of the month. So supposed to be that April sales will have a collections only in the month of May or in the next month following the sale. So yung collection natin will take place coming from March sales and February sales only. Kasi sabi dito 50% of the billings are collected within the discount period and then 30% collected by end of the month. So for March sales 370,000 times 50% times 0.98 or 98%. Why 0.98? Kasi binawas natin yung 2% na discount. So 100 less 2% is 98%. So 370 times 50% times 98%. And then 30% collected by end of the month. So 370 times 30%. And then 15% collected by the end of the second month. So for the month of February, 340,000 times 15%. So the total budgeted cash collections for April is, what's the total? 343,300. It's letter A. Yeah. What's the April cash collections total? March discounted collections, March undiscounted collections, and then the February collections. Next. Estimated cost to produce 1 unit of the laminated footer head is estimated cost per unit of footer head. Cruise Company is in the process of developing its operating budget for the coming year. Given below are selected data regarding the company's two products, the laminated footer heads and forged footer heads that are sold through specialty golf shops. So, yung footer heads, forged, laminated, so raw materials, steel, copper. Ibang tinatanong is laminated footer head cost per unit. So, laminated, so sa steel, 5 per pound, and then copper, 15 per pound. And then direct labor, 1/4 hour at 20 per hour, 1 hour at 22 hours. So 22 per hour naman yung laminated footer head. So 5 plus 15 plus 22. So raw materials and direct labor. But the main question is how much would be for the factory overhead, for variable and then the fixed overhead. Saan ba nakadepende ngayon yung fixed and then variable overhead? So may other details, expected sales for both for forged, laminated. I also mentioned the selling price, ending inventory, beginning inventory, and then the beginning inventory cost. So manufacturing overhead is applied to units produced on the basis of direct labor hours. Variable manufacturing overhead is projected to be 25,000 and fixed manufacturing overhead expected to be 15,000. Ito lang yung medyo tricky dito or quite challenging regarding with the computation of the manufacturing overhead rate since it is based on direct labor hours and then the units produced. So kaya pala given yung example yung sales units dito sa mga ending inventory. So but for forged and laminated, we just need to get how many units were produced for each for each product. So for forged, 8,200 plus ending inventory 100, so 8,300 less beginning inventory 300, so 8,000 units produced. For laminated, 2,000 plus 60 less 60, so still 2,000. And then, sabi niya, basis on direct labor hours. So, di ba, units produced, forged 8,000, and then laminated 2,000. Sinabi dito, ng direct labor per forge is 1/4 hour or 25%. And then laminated 1 hour. So, sa laminated, it's still 2,000 kasi we just need to divide it by 1. And then, or times 100%. For forge, since it required 1/4 hour, so we could divide 8,000 by 4. So, 8,000 divided by 4 is equals to 2,000, or 8,000 times 25%, it's 2,000. So, forged 2,000 direct labor hours, and then laminated 2,000 direct labor hours. And then, so variable manufacturing overhead, and then fixed overhead, it's 25 plus 15 is 40,000. So, 40,000 divided by 4,000. So, that's the manufacturing overhead cost per unit. So, 25 again, plus 15, 40,000 divided by 4,000. It's 10 per hour. So, what's the estimated cost in producing in producing 1 unit of laminated footer head? So, again, 5 plus 15 for the raw materials, 20 plus direct labor, 22. Magkano yan? 42. 42 plus 10. It's 52. So, the correct answer for number 2 is letter C. Let's see if that's correct. Yeah, it's letter C. 52. Okay, next. What would be the correct chronological order of preparation for the following budgets? Yung tamang pagkakasunod-sunod nito. Cost of goods sold budget, production budget, purchases budget, or admins budget. Correct answer is letter D. Normally, we're preparing first always the sales budget. That's always the number 1. Then second, production budget, purchases budget. Then once you already have the production purchase, you could develop the cost of goods sold budget, and then the admin budget. So the correct answer is letter D, 2, 3, 1, 4. When many companies use comprehensive budgeting in planning for the next year's activities, when both an operating budget and a financial budget are prepared, which one of the following is correct concerning the financial budget? Diba? We have 2 types of budget, the operating budget and the financial budget, wherein the operating budgets consist of all the budgets that you can find in the income and loss statements or in the profit and loss statements, while in the financial budgets, it's more on the balance sheet accounts. So, what are those included in the financial budgets? Capital budget, pro forma balance sheet, cash budget. Yes, you're right. The correct answer is letter C. All of these 3 budgets are part of the financial budget. Next one. If the same rate of learning continues for the next several batches produced, which one of the following best describes the type or degree of learning curve that the firm is experiencing, and the average hours per unit for units included in the 201 to 400 range of units, the last 200 units? Guys, tulungan niyo akong mag-solve nitong problem na to. Again, if there are two things that we need to address. First, the learning curve rate, and then the second one is the average R per unit in the 200 first to 400 range. Martin Fabricating uses a cumulative average time learning curve model to monitor the labor cost. Data regarding two recently completed batches of a part that is used in tractor-trailer rigs is as follows. Batch number 1 and 2, number of units 50-50, cumulative average hours per unit 2016. So the learning curve rate, we could easily identify or we could easily calculate. Right? It's 16 over 20. It's 16 over 20. 16 over 20. It's 80%. So now, kailangan na lang natin makita yung average per unit between 201 to 400 range. Sige nga guys, can you just calculate? I'm just giving you 2 minutes. Maximum 2 minutes to answer this question. No guys, may answer na kayo? Alin dyan? Is it B or C? Ano lang pamimili natin dyan? B or C, since yung learning curve nila is 80%. So the correct answer for number 5 is letter C. So, paano kayo yung 1768? Pakita natin yung solution. Cumulative units produced, diba, 50 daw per unit, 50 per batch, no? 50, 100, 200, 400. Then, cumulative average hours, 2016. So, how did we get the 12.80? So, 12.80, 16 times 0.8, then times 0.8. So, 10.24. Since we just need to calculate the average R per unit between the 201 to 400, so we should start with those with the units produced highlighted in green. So we just need to multiply 200 times 12.80 equals to 2,560, and then 400 times 10.24, 4,096. So from 200 to 400, the difference would be 1,536, yun yung additional hours. in this 1,536 are the required hours in manufacturing or in producing 201 to 400 levels. And then in order to determine the per unit or the average hour per unit between 201 to 400, we need to divide that 1,536 by 200 to get average hour per unit, which is 7.68. May isang way din na para calculate, pero same lang din naman, yung kung cumulative units produce nyo, pwede nyo gawin yung 1, 2, 4, 8. Instead na 50, 100, 200, 400. Yung 1, 2, 4, 8, multiply nyo din yung 4 times 12.80, and then yung 8 times 10.24. And then lalabas sa cumulative total hours is 51.2 and then 81.92. Then yung difference na is 30.72. Then divide nyo na dun sa difference ng 8 and 4, which is 4. Then lalabas din yung 7.68. Either way, it will arrive the same answer. Okay, next. The estimated selling price is 25 for sales made before the end of the game. Any shirts remaining after game day can be sold at a wholesale to a local discount store for 10. The expected profit if Carson purchased 6,000 shirts is. So how much will be the expected profit? Carson Products sells sweatshirts and is preparing for a World Cup soccer match. The cost per sweatshirt varies with the quantity purchased as follows. So ito yung mga quantity na available or purchased. But it's mentioned in the problem that Carson purchased 6,000 shirts. The 6,000 shirts cost 13 cost per unit. So 6,000 times 13 is equals to 78,000. So 78,000 is the total cost for the sweatshirt. Carson must purchase the shirts 1 month before the game has analyzed the market estimated sales values. So meaning to say, ang unit sales niya is either 4,000 level, 5,000, 6,000, and then 7,000. But the quantity purchased is 6,000 level. And then the estimated selling price is 25. And then if ever there will be some excess or remaining quantity, it should be sold for a discount of 10. Net of discount is the 10. Or discounted price is $10. So how could we solve this problem? Okay, first, we just need to determine the sales. Under the 4,000, diba, 4,000, so 4,000 times 25, and then plus the individual sale or the wholesale, which is 10, diba, 6,000 quantity yung purchase. So under ng 4,000, may 2,000 remaining. So 2,000 times 10 is equals to 20,000. So 20,000 plus yung 4,000 na sales. And then less natin yung cost nung 6,000 na pinorchase, which is 78,000. And then multiplied natin doon sa probability na 15. And then same thing na gagawin natin sa 5,000, yung 5,000 times 25, then plus 1,000 times 10 less 78,000, and then times 20%. And then sa 6,000 naman, 6,000 times 25, then less yung cost na 78,000 times 35%. So since the unit sales is 7,000, pero ang quantity lang natin na pinurchase is 6,000. So up to 6,000 lang. So 6,000 times 25, and then 6,000 times 30, which is 78,000 yung cost multiplied by 30%. So here's the detailed computation. Revenue, original sales, ng 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. Cost of shares, consistent na 78,000, similar lang sila. And then wholesale revenue, 20 and then 10,000. And then the profit, 42 for 4,000, 5,000, 57, 6,000, 72, and then 72. And then yung probability, 15%, 20%, 35%, and 30%. Then profit times probability, and then add natin. Then that's the expected profit. Expected profit. Next. National Telephone has been forced by competition to drastically cut operating costs, which has resulted in a change from static budgeting to flexible budgeting. Which one of the following steps will not help National Telephone gain maximum acceptance of the proposed budgeting system? Which one of the following steps will not help National Telephone gain maximum acceptance of the proposed budgeting system? Is it A, implementing the change quickly, increasing communication with employees about the reasons for the change and potential benefits that will result from it? C, focusing departmental reports only on items that are under manager's control, or D, demonstrating top management support for the change? Question, which one of the following steps will not help National Telephone gain maximum acceptance of the post-budgeting system? The correct answer is letter A, implementing the change quickly. Once you will be implementing some change, you should have enough time so that everyone should have the time to onboard on the changes, because you cannot just adapt or implement the changes as soon as possible or implement the change right away. Let's see how the explanation goes here. Quick implementation will not allow management and employees the time needed to get on board and accept or buy into the new system. Okay? I think this is the last question. Assuming that the increase in working capital was the result of decrease in accounts payable balance, how much can steers use for capital expenditures without raising outside financing? Assuming that the increase in working capital was the result of the decrease in the accounts payable balance, how much can steers use for capital expenditures without raising outside financing? Steers Company has just completed its pro forma financial statements for the coming year. Relevant information is summarized below. Projected net income, 100,000. Increase in working capital, 25,000. Then depreciation expense, 15,000. And we know that increase in working capital is attributed in the decrease of the accounts payable balance. And since this is a decrease in accounts payable balance, we could conclude that we paid some outstanding amounts or outstanding dues and resulted to decrease of our accounts payable balance. So projected net income 100,000. We need to add back that 15,000 since it is a depreciation expense and non-cash expense. 115,000, then we less the increase in working capital since this is considered as an outflow. But if it's an inflow or it's a decrease in working capital, then we could add up. Since it is a outflow, then we should deduct that 25,000 from 115,000. So the correct answer for number 8 is letter D, 90,000. Basta guys, alamin nyo lang kung ano yung reason behind no increase or decrease in working capital. If the increase or decrease is an inflow or outflow of the cash, kapag inflow, you should just add back to the projected net income. If it is an outflow, then deduct it. Kasi dito, decrease in accounts payable, di ba, nabababa na naman accounts payable natin once we did some payment or we do some payments. So it's an outflow. Okay guys, that's the end of our section B. I think we already discussed all the topics for section B, and then we already cited as well all the multiple choice questions or MCQs, and then some of the MCQs naman is paulit-ulit na lang. And then just have review na lang doon sa mga MCQs din na yung other MCQs or multiple choice questions na na binigay sa inyo ni Sir Marlon. Try to finish yung 2 parts para at least mas maganda yung foundation nyo, yung you have the necessary tool or knowledge for section B. And then just review again tonight, or if you still have time, just finish reviewing this section B, and then by next week or starting on Monday, you should focus now on section D, on the next section. And then try nyo mag-attend ng class or ng review nang nabasa nyo na yung topics, or if you have some multiple choice questions na dapat sagutan, try to answer those MCQs. Mas okay kasi na mag-attend ng review kapag meron na kayong sagot dun sa mga MCQs, or nabasa nyo na, or may nabasa na kayo dun sa mga topics na i-discuss, para at least alam nyo na rin, and then you have mabilis kayo makakagrasp dun sa facing din nung discussion. So guys, I think that's all for section B. So I'm hoping na makita ko kayo sa mga one of the general assemblies once you already pass the CMA, both parts. Then annually naman nagkakaroon ng ng assembly mga CMA dito sa may sa Abu Dhabi chapter and may Dubai chapter. It's up to you which chapter you will be choosing. And then after that, maybe you could also i-continue na rin yung CSCA examination. Mas madali naman yung CA examination kaysa sa CMA. So guys, thank you so much for your time, and then God bless you all, and I'm hoping that all of you should pass the CMA examination, and you will get it as soon as you can. Okay guys, we're leaving it with you na. So galingan nyo lang sa pagre-review, sipagan pa, at ang wag mawala ang pagtsatsaga sa pagre-review. Okay guys, thank you so much for your time, and then have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye!
Salamat po. Thank you everyone.